We now have multiple blizzards showing up on our models, and the coldest air that we've seen since last winter may just be a week away. It's November 2nd, 2025. Let's get into the weather updates. When I tell you that this is the most aggressive weather pattern that we've seen in months, I mean it. Let's quickly take a look at the temperatures, and then we're going to go over and take a look at the future reflectivity to see what's ahead. Right here, we're looking at the 850 millibar temperatures moving forward. The reason I'm looking at this is because at this layer, this is just above our heads. It's not affected by the daytime heating or the nighttime cooling, so it's a lot easier to see where that transfer of cool air actually is. Now, if we move forward in time, and you can see right now, we do have some pretty chilly temperatures through the plains and out east. But as we move forward in time, we're going to get into this week, which is actually going to bring a little bit of a warm up for a lot of us across the country from the west to the east coast. We'll have a little bit of a ridge pushing up there in the plains. So break from the cool air for a little bit, but wait until we get into next weekend. Look at this trough trying to dive down towards the Gulf region. This would bring, feels like, below freezing temperatures all the way down potentially to Texas, northern Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. It's going to try to get these very chilly winter temperatures very far south. Moving forward from that, that'll move out, and then look what's right behind it. These are these wobbles that I talk about in the jet stream, and these typically occur after you have some Arctic warming, which we've had. Here's another dive of extremely cold air. This is very displaced for this early in the season. And with this cold air, it looks like we're going to have the potential for some significant storms. If you guys have watched my videos over the last couple days, I had started off by talking about how the Euro, in my opinion, wasn't being aggressive enough with snow. I said I thought we'd have a better winter pattern moving forward and probably some chillier air than what was showing up on the Euro. And the Euro has completely gone in the direction of the GFS, and it is showing these winter storms now. If we move ahead here, and I'll just take you through the weekend into next weekend, we've got some storms moving up the east coast here, and we have some chilly air that's going to try to dive into the upper Midwest and then out towards inner New England, bring a little bit of precipitation with that. And then up here in the Northwest, we do have a storm system slamming into the coast. You're going to have some cold rain at low elevation and high elevation snow. Moving throughout the week, we're going to get a warm up, like I said, for much of the country. You're going to see above average temperatures down here in the southwest through much of the plains and then in the southeast. And getting into Wednesday and Thursday of this week, here we go. That storm system's still slamming into the west coast. And we have another system diving into the northeast. I think this is going to be cold rain at low elevation and some snow up in the high elevations. Here's where things get interesting. Okay. Getting into Friday and Saturday, we're going to have a little bit of a severe threat moving through the Ohio Valley, and we're going to have some of that moisture actually starting to move into the northern Rockies. This is what's going to bring us potentially our first big winter storm of the season out towards the plains and out east. Here we go, getting to late Saturday and into Sunday. Look at this troughing. This is cold Arctic air trying to dive down towards the Gulf. Now, before, and we're just going back 2 or 3 days in runs, the Euro did not have this trough amplified at all. It kept all of the snow up in Canada. You can see what it's doing now. It's trying to bring some snow down through the Dakotas, through the upper Midwest, and then potentially out towards the Northeast as well. You can see all of those flurries it brings. And the GFS is actually very aggressive with this. The GFS wants a ton of snow up here in the Northeast, but we'll get to that in a second. Point is, this is likely to be, if we see this play out like this, and we'll see some version of this because we see this across the GFS, Canadian, and Euro, there is the potential for some severe weather. And there is the potential for, like I said, temperatures to get 20, 25, 30 degrees below average with this. Now watch what happens as we move into November 10th, 11th, 12th. Here we go, another major collapse of the polar jet. And this right here is just a full out blizzard if we were to see this play out. End of the run, so we're going to wait and see how things change as we get closer to this time frame. But 969 millibar low, this right here would be 2 to 3 feet of snow and heavy winds. This would actually be a blizzard. It's the end of the run though. So now let's move over to our GFS. It sees very similar things this week. Like I said, multiple shots of cold air up to the northeast, this low pressure system over the next few days moving up the coast, and then we have a ton of low elevation, cold rain, and high elevation snow and wind out there for the west. But let's fast forward to next weekend where again, here we go. The GFS also sees this storm system moving into potentially the northern Rockies, northern plains, upper Midwest, and then diving down to the southeast. And with it, here comes that snow through the Dakotas, down through Iowa, potentially northern Missouri. We'll see a little bit in Indiana, Ohio, and that cold air tries to get all the way down to the Gulf. And look what's happening up in the northeast. This would be potentially over a foot of snow, maybe even 2 feet of snow in some areas up in the higher elevations. So yes, both the Euro and GFS see this storm. They play it out a little bit differently. The GFS tries to bring more snow down into the states, especially up into the Northeast on its run. But again, they both see it. So do I think we're going to have a winter storm next weekend? I do. We'll see how aggressive it could be with the snow and cold air as we get a little bit closer, but I do think that storm system is on its way. Now, as we get a little bit farther, 13th, 14th, 15th, guess what? The GFS completely agrees with the Euro as well. Here's another storm system, and this right here would be potentially a blizzard for, who knows, Des Moines, Minneapolis, Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, if this were to play out like this. I'll say it again, end of the run, but what do we see? Models agreeing on an extremely active winter pattern through November. For fun, if we were to see where the GFS sees snow over the next couple of weeks, tons of snow here out west up in the mountains. You get a little bit through the plains, up here through the Midwest, and then a lot up there in New England. And take a look at the Euro. The Euro wants to put a lot of snow into the plains. Who knows, you could even get Omaha involved if we see the system play out more like the European model. I don't think we're going to get 2.5 feet of snow in central Nebraska, but I will say this pattern looks extremely aggressive, so it's not impossible. And then the Euro AI model likes a lot of snow up in the Northeast. One of the reasons I do think the models are picking up on this aggressive winter storm type pattern is look at the blocking that's happening up to the north and over Greenland. This is actually forcing this air to have to dive farther to the south because it can't escape up to the north. If we move forward in time into next weekend, look, I mean, this cold air has nowhere to go. Look at all of this blocking. There's that positive PNA, negative NAO look I always talk about that gives us enhanced winter storms out east. And once again, right behind it, you hold that blocking up to the north, and we have another storm system trying to dive into the plains and then push out east. This is a nice pattern if you like winter, if you like cold air and snow. If you don't, enjoy this week, Monday to Friday, or at least Monday to Thursday, when our temperatures are going to go back to average or be a little bit above average, and we're probably not going to see a ton of storminess across the states, besides really New England and then the Northwest. Lastly, before I wrap up this video, I wanted to take a look at our winter panels. So when our global models get all of this data that they run through their algorithm so they can tell us what they think is going to happen over the next week or two, sometimes even longer, they're not just producing one scenario. In many cases, they're producing 25 to 50 scenarios. So we're going to take a look at actually 50 different scenarios that the European sees as a possibility over the next 2 weeks. And it can be interesting to see what similarities these members have. One of the first things I noticed is a lot of these members do like a decent amount of snow up in the Northeast. And the snow is consistently showing up in the Rockies. I really don't have to circle this. It's on every member. But there are some members here that show some crazy scenarios. This one down here in the bottom left, we see snow into low elevation Tennessee and Ohio. We see a run here putting feet of snow through the plains. We also see a member putting a lot of snow into Chicago. We see northern Texas and Oklahoma snow. This member right here has inches of snow stretching from North Dakota all the way down through western Virginia. This run right here is crazy. You see a basically nor'easter, so the mid-Atlantic getting snow, the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, the northern plains. So the point is there's a lot of different scenarios with these snow systems. We look at the deterministic runs because those are what these globals think is the best member to look at. And then if we were to take a look at the European ensemble, guess what we're looking at? We're looking at a blend of all of those models. So where you see this dark gray and blue, this is where the European thinks if you were to average out all 50 of those models, you could see a little bit of snow here over the next couple of weeks. It is even giving a chance a little farther south. Oh, and by the way, our 06Z GFS came out while I was making this video. And look at all of this snow in the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and up through New England. We're seeing snow in Chicago, Des Moines, Indianapolis, potentially Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh. It's everywhere. Will this exact scenario play out? No, but it's interesting to see the models getting even more aggressive than they already are because, well, this is a clear trend. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and if you like this type of content, a like, comment, or subscribe goes a long way. I post videos like this every single morning, and I try and stream every day as well to answer all of your weather-related questions. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.